this action from the SuperGP is proudly brought to you by Diode and their associate sponsors.
We're down in pit lane with pole position man in the KTM RC390 Junior Cup, Tarek van der Merwe, one of the youngest competitors that we've had ever in the championship. Only your second race in the 390s, first time in East London, and pole position. You've got to be happy with that.
Of course I am. It's just hopefully I can get a pole win in the race, and yeah.
What is your strategy going to be for the race? Because slipstream is so key. Is it about trying to get away, or do you just want to be in the bunch and make sure coming into the final turn that you can get the slipstream to the line?
My final idea is that if I can break away from the pack and not be slipstreamed down into the last turn, because slipstream, especially on this track, is a major thing. You can be slipstreamed 4 to 5 times down the main straights, and also it's just I'd like to break away, and if I can, I will.
You had a good first round at Cape Town, but East London, it's all about picking up those championship points, heading back up to Joburg side, Swartkops and Red Stars. So the moment lying in a good place in the championship, but you can't afford to slip up, can you?
No, I can't. If I do mess up, it's going to be my championship out the window.
Chase Holscher, a big crash at Swartkops in testing. Just tell us about the recovery and how it's all going.
It's going well. It was a bit sore in the beginning. It's getting much better now. My crash was a bit unlucky where my brakes failed going into turn 4 and the bike landed on my legs and crushed them. My right leg is getting much better now, and my left ankle's still going to be a few months, but I'll get back on the bike as soon as this comes off.
So you definitely plan on getting back on hopefully by the end of the year, because last year you were just coming right on the RC390, picked up a podium at Red Star, coming into this season one of the title favourites. So it's all about the recovery now, but hopefully we'll see you back before the end of the year.
Yeah, definitely. I'll really try get ready for the last race at Red Star, and we can see what we can do there in Dalmas.
One of our up-and-coming stars, the stars of tomorrow in the KTM RC390 Cup. A little bit shy, but I'm sure you're going to be on camera a lot more this year, so you're going to have to get used to it. Sam Lockhoff, all the way from Cape Town, won the opening race in Cape Town, down in East London, racing for the first time. Had some problems in qualifying, so strategy for race?
I don't really have a strategy, but I just want to go out there and have fun. I really like this track. I've had a lot of problems with my bike. I just hope they fix for race number 1, and let's see how it goes.
And you say you really enjoyed the track. First time here on these little 390s, it must be so much fun, because it's literally flat out wherever you go.
Yeah, the infield is a bit, I struggle there a bit, but I have to dig deep and do what I can.
And then moving on later into the year, you go to the likes of Swartkops, obviously Red Star. You haven't been to those tracks before, so it's really about a learning curve for you this year. Get as many points as you can, and then next year potentially go for the championship.
Yeah, even if I've got a problem in these races, I'm just going to try to finish the race just for those points, because at the end of the year it will all end up to position.
We saw some big action down in Cape Town, and now in East London we stay at the coast. It's a bit windier than Cape Town, and these little 390s are going to be pushed hard, but you can see they're all up for it. Otto getting a final little advice there from Zante, but it's Tarek van der Merwe, Ricardo Otto, and Aaron Heidemann, local man, on the front row. Tyrese Roberts going to be fighting hard with Lockhoff, and look out for Coccione. Coccione had some problems, and it doesn't look like he's made it to the grid. Let's see if we can get going and hopefully out of pit lane back into the race.
Tarek van der Merwe with a great launch from pole position. Looks like he's going to get the whole shot. Yes, he does. But watch out for Sam Lockhoff and, of course, Tyrese Robert. This really is all about damage limitations. He needs to just score as many points as he can, because being one of the slightly bigger riders in this field of real midgets, it must be said, and Tyrese Robert, not that he's a big guy, just slightly bigger than everyone else, just really does lose out down the straights. He's already getting past Hardeman there now, but it is the three youngsters out front, Ricardo Otto, Tarek van der Merwe and Sam Lockhoff, the Cape Town rider. He's going to just improve with every single lap he does around the East London circuit. First time here, but he needs to pick up championship points after crashing out in race number 2 at Cape Town. But Ricardo Otto, he's going to hit the front, so he's up the inside now of Tarek van der Merwe, and judging from the pace in practice and qualifying, that's what he needs to do, because if he allows Tarek van der Merwe to get any kind of clean air in front of him, he might not be able to make that move again, and it'll be Tarek van der Merwe just clearing off in the distance.
Tarek, I think, is going to look to try and get away as soon as he can, Rob. That's why I came straight back at him. As they come in a gate corner now, big look from Otto, but Tarek shuts the door. and shuts the gate, more importantly, as they go in there through the S and now through the complex for the first time, trying to just bridge a little margin of Otto. And you can see he's actually got the handling ability there. Otto seems to battle a bit. We saw that in the 250s. He seems to battle a little bit through the complex.
Yeah, definitely does. Tarek from Merva got that RC390 set up perfectly. Looks so suited to that bike, does Tarek. Since the first day he climbed on that KTM RC390 machine, he has just gelled with it. And we saw it out in Cape Town. Did an incredible job there. But so far this weekend here at East London is the man to beat. And put it on pole position and already looking to stretch that advantage. This is the battle now for third place. Lockoff, he's got Tyrese Robert just on his tail. And just behind them is the local man. That's Aaron Heidemann doing an incredible job. He's going to try and pick up that three-man slipstream. That really is the only way that he can stick with those guys. But he could potentially be going from the back end of that pack to the leading pack. But Sam Lockoff, the tiny little rider that he is on that Samurai machine, doing an incredible job there, up in third place at the moment. First time out at the East London Circuit. And you can see Tyrese Robert just doing everything he can. He wants to try and pick up a podium. If he can walk away from East London with a podium, he'll be happy with that going into SWAT Corps.
As they head down into Rifle now, you can see all of a sudden Tarek van der Merwe pulled the pin. That KTM 390 is getting away in this KTM Super Junior category. Very, very competitive last season. It looks like we've got 5 riders that could potentially go and fight it out here for the championship this year. But the one that's looking the most dangerous right now is that 32 bike of Tarek van der Merwe. 22 Tyrese Roberts sits in 4th. Doesn't have an answer yet to the 44 of Sam Lockoff, and Otto just in 2nd place in no man's land.
Yeah, Tarek van der Merwe has had a little bit of assistance from Sheridan Moraes at the beginning of the season. That's why he runs in bike number 32. So if he can become anything like the little Shares show, then we've got another serious talent on our hands. You can see Tyrese Robert now in the infield section. You can see how much he closes in on the back end of Sam Lockoff. This is really where Tyrese Robert does come to the floor, and he's able to just get that RC390. Is he going to go around the outside? No, Lockoff blocking that line, and Aaron Heidemann as well. You can see how they close in on the small statured rider there of Sam Lockoff. But coming into the top of the hill, will Tyrese Robert be able to make a move on the inside and just disrupt the momentum that Sam Lockoff has got coming onto the front straight? He's not going to make it stick there. So Tyrese Robert is going to try and get the drive now and just sit in the slipstream all the way through Potters. And off, he runs a little bit wide to Sam Lockoff. So that is Tyrese Robert up into 3rd place. But make no doubt, the Samurai bike will be coming past. Yes, he does. And he even comes past across the line. So Tyrese Robert is really going to have to play a mental strength game here and use his racecraft.
Now the racecraft he's going to have to try is to find another place to get through earlier on, to give him a little bit more of a margin to play with as they get onto the straight, because you can see that margin was not big enough. Lockoff, by the time he got back into the slipstream, had enough time to close and pass and get across the start-finish line before Tyrese Robert. So Tyrese Robert now, as you can see, Heidemann having a look there into Rifle, maybe using a little bit of local track knowledge at the inside line there. He maybe knew there was maybe a bit more grip than what was expected. Here comes Robert again. This is too close into the lap, I should say. Needs to be getting it just out of the complex, maybe out of the left-hander that drives him onto the sweep, and then to keep it all together up the hill as they head towards Beacon Corner. That's the kind of maneuver he needs to pull if he wants to have enough in hand to get across the line. It's too early in the race though for him to try that. Maybe just playing around a little bit there with Lockoff and Heidemann and just biding his time, waiting. He knows he can still get onto the podium. He's just got to worry about the Samurai man and the local man.
Now Sam Lockoff, he struggles a little bit to get that RC390 coming out of the turns and holding its line, and that's where Tyrese Robert is able just to hold a much tighter line and put it on the inside. But of course he loses out then down the straights, because Lockoff, he doesn't even need the slipstream. He's able just to pull out and make that maneuver. But here we go, Tyrese Robert coming to the top of the hill once again. Heidemann waiting to pick up the pieces, if there are any, from the 2 riders ahead of him. But doesn't look like Tyrese Robert is going to pull out on the brakes this time, but instead he's got Heidemann coming on the inside of him. So Tyrese Robert, while he's trying to attack ahead of him, he's also got to be defensive behind him, because the local man is coming. He's going to climb in the slipstream there now, and these 3 riders, while they're duffing each other up, that's just allowed Ricardo Otto, the 2nd place man, to pull out a comfortable lead there, while Tarek van der Merwe is just extending his lead almost a second a lap faster than anyone else on track.
Yeah, last lap of 40.084. 41s coming out of Otto, 42s out of the 3 riders fighting for 3rd. So there's hardly anything in it between the 3 of them, but they are slowing each other down to the tune of 2 seconds and allowing Tarek and Ricardo Otto to get away. So this little fight between the 3 of them is actually slowing them down, and Otto won't be too concerned about that. Neither will Van der Merwe. Van der Merwe has got his head down. He just wants to get away and take a double victory here today if possible. It's going to be a hard task to do that, but here they come under braking. Aaron on the inside, Lockoff in the middle, and around the outside. Wow! Good move there from Tyrese. Well, he's going to try something different here. Let's see if it pays off. He's got on and he's saying, right, onto my tail. Let's see if you can keep up with me down this beach straight.
Yeah, I don't think Sam Lockoff is going to be listening to that little tap on the tailpiece. He's going to climb right into the slipstream now. I don't think he's going to be close enough to make a move coming into the infield. No, he's not. You can see how much later. It's about 20, 30 meters later on the brakes there is Tyrese Robert. And you can see the gap that he already pulls now through the infield section. But Sam Lockoff just unable to hold that bike on the line that he wants to. And Heidemann is now starting to attack the Samurai Kid. And you can see big problems there in the infield for Sam Lockoff. So I wonder if he's got some kind of problem there. Because Tyrese Robert, since making that move going into Cochabana, has pulled out almost a second in that infield alone.
Yeah, I think he just caught Lockoff off guard there. He wasn't quite expecting it. But that's the kind of maneuver he needs to make if he wants to stay on the podium. He's not going to catch Otto unless something goes wrong, and he's definitely not going to catch Tarek van der Merwe unless something goes wrong with that youngster. Right now, that is the kind of maneuver he needs to make if he wants to get on the podium and make it stick for the next couple of laps. So let's see if he can pull away now. Watch though for Lockoff. Closing in on the slipstream across the line. There's only 2 or 3 bike lengths as they cross the line there, and going into Potter's Pass, he's already closed it down to 1.5, possibly 2, and by the time they get into Potter's Pass, he's right there again with Tyrese.
Yeah, 100%. You can see that second is almost chopped down to half a second, and it's coming down with every meter of tarmac that they use. Look at Lockoff. He really picked up a huge slip there going through Potter's Pass, and he's already on the inside now. We're going to see 2 abreast. No, he makes the move already before they even get into rifle range. So that's the difference in speed of those 2 machines, and it's purely down to the weight difference of the 2 riders. Coming into the braking marker, this is where Tyrese Robert has that advantage, and you'll see coming out of the turn especially is where he's able to get a little bit more grip than Sam Lockoff because of the stats. You can see Lockoff once again running a little bit wide, and that allows Tyrese Robert to pull up almost right next door to him. But like you said, I mean, Tyrese Robert, if he had looked behind him and saw that he had almost a second gap, it's still not enough. Like you said, he's got to do it in the final part of the circuit here. If he's going to get that 3rd place, he's got to disrupt Sam Lockoff going into the infield here and make it stick.
Not an easy thing to do. Lockoff is loving life at the moment and is not too worried about the man behind him. He's already seen that by losing almost a second and a half, he was able to make it up in the half a lap. So he knows he's got it in hand. He's just got to keep it all together.
Oh, Tyrese Robert around the outside. That's a brave move. Yeah, that's a really good move there from Tyrese. But unfortunately, once again, I just feel for Tyrese here because every kind of hard move that he makes, he just sees that little samurai bike pull up right next to him, and Heidemann's now on the inside. So once again, Tyrese Robert having to play the double game of attacking and defending at the same time. But Tyrese Robert, it must be so frustrating for him out there, but he's got to just keep his composure, got to keep the mental strength, and he's just got to make it count. He's got to just stick it on the inside and disrupt the race of Sam Lockoff, because coming across the line, he's going to need, coming onto the front straight, he's going to need at least half a second coming to the line.
Yeah, look at that. There we go, pulling out of the slipstream now, using Lockoff's slipstream into Potter's Pass, and this time he returns the favor. There you can see the effect of the slipstream. Pulls out, gets past, gets about 2 or 3 bike lengths, but then all of a sudden the slipstream is reversed and Lockoff can do the same thing to him.
He must hate the sight of that little blue bike coming on the inside of him. Heidemann unable to make a move just yet, but he's just sitting there patiently waiting for a mistake because he knows it's going to come from one of these 2 riders, maybe just running a little bit late on the brakes or something, and he's just going to be there to pounce. You can see once again coming onto the beach straight, Sam Lockoff runs just a little bit wide. I wonder if the wind is just pushing him out a little bit too much that he's unable to pull that bike in online, and that allows Tyrese Robert once again in the slipstream. But coming up the beach straight, you can see Robert's unable to make the move going into the complex section. Heidemann's now attacking Tyrese, but this is where Tyrese is going to have to flick it right, left. If he can shove it on the inside going into this left-hander here, because Sam Lockoff really does struggle to hold the line here, so this is where Tyrese is going to have to make the move stick. He's unable to do it there, or maybe going around the outside here. Once again, you can see the much tighter line there from Tyrese, which lines him up for the right-hander, but still no way past the Samurai Kid just ahead of him.
Oh, it's good riding though. These 2 are not holding anything back, and they're giving each other just as much as what they're getting. So if they can keep it all together, yeah, there's a possibility of a podium for one of them. Heidemann, as you said, Rob, is just sitting comfortable and going, right, if one of you makes a mistake, I'm definitely going to take a podium at my home circuit. They run, Heidemann running very wide, using the outside line and some more as they came onto the main straight again and pulled away because of it. Heidemann lost some ground, running that wide line didn't quite help him out. As they cross the line one more time, it's another lap completed. Tarek van der Merwe, a good almost 20 seconds up the road. Ricardo Otto only a couple of seconds up the road from these guys, about 4 or 5 seconds in fact, into the hands of Lockoff now, who is in 3rd. 4th place, Tyrese right with him. Robert is looking pretty comfortable, and I think what they're doing right now might just get them away from Aaron Heidemann if he keeps making mistakes like he did coming out of Beacon.
Yeah, this is a chess game at 220 plus k's an hour. So, and Sam Lockhoff, one of our youngest competitors here at the SuperGP Champions Trophy, he's going to go on the inside on the brakes. Is he going to make it stick? No, Tyrese Robert just using his experience and his little bit extra weight there just to rail it around the outside. That's allowed Aaron Heidemann straight back now into this battle with those two chopping and changing going into Cochabana. Aaron Heidemann now is right back on the tail of those two. So that's exactly what he's waiting for, because he knows these two are going to duff each other up. You can see Sam Lockhoff now once again back up on the inside of Tyrese Roberts. So if I could have $1 for the amount of times that you guys have swapped positions, I could maybe buy the East London circuit.
Yeah, you could, or a decent copy of Ride Fast magazine.
No. That is limited edition stuff.
The complex, and it's Lockhoff hanging on for now. Can he keep it all together? He's got to try and keep Tyrese Robert out. He's seen that Tyrese has gone left, he's gone right, he's tried things at different parts of the circuit. Every single time he's tried something, though, Lockhoff has been able to come back at him. So I don't think Sammy's going to be too worried about it. He knows he's got what it takes here, and if he can just keep it upright, that's what's going to be most important. Don't make any silly mistakes, because that will be exceptionally costly.
Yeah, you can see Lockhoff running a little bit wide once again, so Tyrese Robert right next to him, and again he just sees that Samurai bike just pulling away. I just feel like giving Tyrese a massive hug at the end of this race, because he really has thrown everything he has at this race, and now he's got Aaron Heidemann on the inside of him. So once again that double effect of having to attack and defend at the same time. He's going to rail it around the outside, so that's really brave from Tyrese Robert. There's none braver in this category than that young man, and now you can see he's got that slingshot effect from that man, just Sam Lockhoff just ahead of him, and 3 abreast going through rifle range. That's how brave our young 390 riders are, and Lockhoff from 3rd down into 5th place in a matter of a couple of seconds.
Yeah, a couple of meters and it all changes up, and here we go. Heidemann going to try for 3rd. Can he get there? Yes, he can. Go Aaron Heidemann. Wow, local man is up in a 3rd place, and you could actually hear the crowd on the outside there of Cochabana giving him all the support that he needed as he made a brave move on Tyrese Robert. Now, can he keep it all together? This might be a little bit of a maneuver here from Heidemann. He's probably decided, right, let's turn the wick up a bit. Let's see if these boys can take the pressure, and now they go 3x3 into gate corner.
Oh, yeah, we go. Tyrese Robert out the inside. He knows he wants to get that 3rd place. 17 points in race number 1 here would be just up the road from Tyrese Robert. That's exactly what he would have wanted going into Swartkops, where we know he's going to be so competitive and able to challenge for those wins. But here at East London, he's just got to go for that podium. But at the moment, he's got a local man dying for a podium, and he's got a young rider all the way from Cape Town, first time at East London, that is also looking for a podium. So it's not going to go all the way of Tyrese Robert though, and coming into the final stage of this race, he's really going to have to use every bit of racecraft he has. But Heidemann once again up the inside, running a little bit wide, and that's allowed Tyrese Robert straight back on the inside and able to get the drive. But watch out for Lockhoff. I'll bet you anything that Lockhoff, by the time we get into rifle range, will be back up into that podium position.
This is how tight it is. They cross the line. There you go, 3, 4 and 5. You can see just in the foreground there, Ricardo
Not
Otto.
even rifle range.
And Ricardo Otto, in fact, losing a little bit of ground now. He had about 4 or 5 seconds up the road. It's gone down to about 4 seconds now. So a little bit of working together here, and a bit of assistance with the slipstream effect is slowly but surely closing in on Otto. Maybe Otto could be in danger here in the very last couple of laps.
Yeah, definitely are closing in just a little bit, but having said that, coming into Cochabana, they're going to be jostling for positions for sure. So here we go, 3 abreast onto the brakes now, and watch out for the local rider. You can see how late he dives the front end of that KTM. He's on the inside, but so too is Tyrese Robert. So there we go, Sam Lockhoff went from 5th up into 3rd, and he's now back down into 5th. So chopping and changing with every single corner, literally. And once again, the slipstream is going to come into play now down the beach straight, going into the infield. It's all about who can break the latest, going into the right-hander. It's a really a deceiving corner because it tightens up. It's so fast going in, but it does tighten up. And Sam Lockhoff, what an impressive move there. I didn't think he would be able to do it on the brakes, but he's done it. So he's back up into 3rd place now. Tyrese Robert there in 4th, and the local man Heidemann, he's back down in 5th, losing a little bit of time there. So a little bit of a mistake there going in the one left-hander, but he's right now back onto the tail, and this is where they're going to make it stick. Coming up to the top of the hill into the final turn, they've got to stick it on the inside of that Samurai kid.
This is impressive stuff from these three. They really haven't given any inch at all, and it's been very good and clean racing amongst the three of them as well. No rubbing of elbows, no rubbing of plastics just yet, but I say that I say that tongue-in-cheek because we are coming into the closing stages, so things are certainly going to get a lot hotter as we get into these last couple of laps.
Yeah, that is Luca Coccioni just ahead of Ricardo Otto there, so he's able to get out on track now. Final lap time, so Coccioni's managed just to fix that bike and see if he can get that sorted for race number 2, but it's pretty much all about these three now for that final podium position. Tyrese Robert almost next to Sam Lockhoff, unable to make it stick there, but watch the slingshot he's going to get here. He's going to launch here that little KTM of his right up alongside Sam Lockhoff going into Rafa. Unfortunately, Heidemann with a little bit of a mistake, and he's now lost that toe, but it can all change going into Copacabana.
Tyrese on the inside, he's got the inside line. Oh!
What was that
touched.
about not rubbing?
Yeah, they nearly touched there. They still haven't touched, so I'm still in the good there. But now on the brakes, down into Copacabana. This is where Tyrese wanted to set it up. We saw it work for him the last time. Can he make it stick? He gets good drive, but Lockhoff unfortunately also gets good drive. As they head onto the B straight, he looks behind him. Don't look behind. What are you doing? Just get your head down and get away.
Yeah, head down, bum up. You can't afford to lose any kind of slipstream, and unfortunately that's allowed Sam Lockhoff on the outside. Tyrese trying to force him to go on the inside, and that's not going to work there. But Tyrese Robert, that's great riding. He's able just to keep them behind him, and Lockhoff a little bit wide there, so Hardemann's going to go around the outside, so that's pretty much handed now. The podium there to the third place man, Tyrese Robert. Tarek van der Merwe, a start to finish race here. What an incredible ride for that man. That's going to be his first victory now in the 390 Cup. A great ride. Ricardo Otto will pick up second place, but it is that battle for third. Will Tyrese Robert be able to hang on? I think he might just have enough to pick up those 17 points.
Yeah, it's a long, long way back. Yeah, they come into Beacon. Tyrese hanging on. Oh, sliding in. Has he made a mistake?
No.
He has. He's made a mistake. He's gone too wide, and Lockhoff has gone up the inside. He had it all done. It was all in the bag for him. And unfortunately losing out as they come across the line there. Ricardo Otto will be taking a phenomenal second place, but third place, it's gone to Lockhoff. A big mistake from Tyrese right in the final turn. He's going to be unhappy with himself there, but still giving high fives all round because those three have put on a fantastic show here today.
Yeah, that really was an incredible ride from those three riders. So it was Tarek van der Merwe with a 21-second lead over Ricardo Otto. Sam Lockhoff just ahead of Tyrese Robert with Aaron Hardeman there in fifth place. So, but a great ride from these three youngsters, and it's incredible to see them. And Greg will be down at the podium to catch up with our top three.
Nice and interesting effort there being put in, and the two front runners getting away, kind of showing what we expected. Second place from Otto Racing, it's going to be young Ricardo Otto. And certainly a tough man to beat today. He's riding fast like his sponsors asked him to do, so a good effort from Evolve Racing's Tarek van der Merwe. Mr. Tim Cook from Gas Sports will be handing out third place to Sam Lockhoff. Mrs. Lee Watson will be handing second place to Ricardo Otto. Good job, guys. And good to have the boss man here from Gas Sports, Stephen Watson, handing out first place there to Tarek van der Merwe. So there it is, ladies and gents. Make some noise for your top three. They're going to be out in action a bit later on today. We're going to have a quick chat to them and get their views on how things went. Starting with Sam. Come on down here, Sam. Dude, it's been a tough weekend. You've chatted to Rob already about how things went and a little bit of chopping and changing that had to happen with a few things on the bike. But certainly looks like it's sorted out. Got to find maybe a little bit more top-end speed to run with the two front runners.
Yeah, after yesterday practice, I kind of wanted to go home, but then I just dug deep and I wanted to finish the race, and I'm so glad I finished third. It's a very good achievement.
No doubt about it, particularly when you sort of get to the point where you've so frustrated that you want to throw the towel in. That's when the true racer comes out, and it certainly showed today in your ability. We saw it down in Cape Town, so more of the same in the second heat and into the championship.
Yeah, I guarantee I just want to do the same thing that I've been doing. It's just been so fun.
Smile, his dad says. That's always nice. Say, smile, there you go, quick one for the selfie. Well, then we'll catch you off in the second one, hopefully. Good job, buddy. All right, second place, Ricardo. Come on in, you big guy. Dude, a good start, and it looked like you could run with Tarek, but as we kind of expected down here, power to weight ratio, particularly with the smaller bikes, is going to be a big thing. He's probably about, what, like a kilo less than you? So that's probably gave him that little bit of advantage, eh?
I was pushing and I saw him pulling away. I was just pushing to catch him, and unfortunately with my broken collarbone that I got 2 weeks ago, I wasn't very fit to race, but I was just saw him to push away, and then I just said I'm going to settle for second and stuff.
Consolidation is always a good thing by this stage, but do you think you can find maybe a little bit extra for race number 2?
Yeah, we'll try the second race. If I get a good start in the front, get this lap every time, every straight.
Brilliant stuff. We look forward to seeing you. Tarek, come on in here, buddy. Dude, I'm sure you're quite happy with that big trophy in the hand, but the job's not done yet. You've still got another race to go, and the pressure's now on.
Yeah, obviously. So, yeah.
Obviously, we know that. But what is your plan now? What are you going to do to try and keep them behind you?
Hopefully just going to break away and take all my markers to the next level.
The markers have already been set at a very high level, so it's going to be tough to match those and maybe better them, but I'm sure you're up for it.
Obviously.
Obviously, that's going to be like hashtag obviously from now on, eh? Tarek, hashtag obviously van der Merwe. Looking forward to the next one?
Yes.
Okay, I thought I'd get another obviously. Anyway. And there you can see Tarek fired up and ready to go now for race 2. I think we got a very good possibility of a double victory out of Tarek van der Merwe today. He has been the class of the field, but he has going to be pushed hard and will be pushed hard by 2 or 3 riders on his tail looking to get to the front end. Rob Portman down on the grid. Let's have a quick chat to one of the riders.
On the grid here now with Tyrese Robert, a good race number 1. Made a mistake in the final turn which cost you a little bit. What's your plan for race number 2?
Oh, looks like we've got a little bit of issue there with the audio coming from Rob. So as soon as we get that back again, we'll try and catch up with Tyrese Robert again.
Picked up a little bit, so slipstream even more key now.
Yeah, it's going to be the key to this race. I just hope I didn't make stuff up like I did in the first race and just get to the first corner with them all.
Oh, good luck to Tyrese Robert and all the other KTM RC390 riders here. It's race 2 action now. Stick around.
We're sticking around, Rob. I'll stick around here in the commentary booth and wait for you to come join me. Okay, how's that sound? Zante Otto going to give her brother a high five before he goes and races race number 2. Otto going to be looking to try and do a double here and hopefully get up onto the podium again. He's already been on the podium for the 250s. He's been on the podium here for the 390s, but he wants to be one step higher than he was in this first one. But it's not going to be an easy day's riding for him. That is for sure. We're now under starters orders for race 2 of the Super Juniors. And looking to get things underway here as soon as possible. We've still got a little warm-up lap for these guys to do. Tarek van der Merwe, Otto, Tyrese Roberts. And you can see, I'm just looking to see, do we have a 67 bike on track? Yes, we do. Coccione is back in the field. Sam Lockhoff wants to also go slightly higher on the podium than what he was in race number 1. And he will get the Samurai Racing machine fired up and ready to go now for the second heat of the day's racing. Not going to be an easy task for him. We've already heard that he's battled a bit with some power issues on that bike, but needless to say, the power issues didn't affect him too badly because he was in a fantastic battle in race number 1 there with the likes of Tyrese Roberts. So let's have a look and see if we can do the same now. Tarek van der Merwe heading down into Cochabamba corner. This is where the visors are coming down, and the race is already started. This is where they're starting to look at what they've got to do, how they've got to do it, and how quickly they can do it as well as we get into the second heat of the day here for our incredible Super Juniors.
Yeah, just chatting to Tyrese on the grid, and he really is up for it. Knows he made a big mistake in race number 1, cost himself a couple of positions. So he's got the race face on, visor is down, and he wants to make up for that mistake for sure. He knows he needs to get as many championship points as he can, because at the moment he's losing out on the likes of Tarek van der Merwe and of course Sam Lockhoff. So Tyrese Robert, watch out for bike number 22. Great to see Sam Lockhoff back out there on the Samurai bike. Good first outing here at East London so far for the young man from Cape Town. It's all about getting more points and just learning the circuits. This year is all about learning. His first year full-time here in the RC390. He's only just started riding bikes not so long ago. So another one to really watch out for. We've got so many big names coming up. The likes of Tarek van der Merwe, Tyrese Robert, of course Sam Lockhoff, and of course Ricardo Otto, the man who's really going to try and do everything he can to stick it to Tarek, who pretty much ran away with race number 1.
And as we mentioned with this field, and particularly with these motorcycles, power to weight ratio is definitely an issue that they've got to play around with. So let's see whether or not we can sort things out here, and Tarek van der Merwe can maybe have a little bit more of a hassle with some of the riders. Yeah. But if he's got his race face on, if he's got that ride faster ethos in his blood, he's going to get away.
He does. He's got a nice big fat ride for sticker on the side of that bike. That's why he won. If you want to win, you got to have a ride for sticker on your bike. Local man in third place, so watch out for him as well. He made a couple of tweaks to that bike of his, so he'll be hoping to get on the podium to bring some joy to the East London crowd that have come out in full force here. Lights are off, and it looks like a great start there from Ricardo Otto. Look at that. Just
Tyrese Robert on the grid. No, it's not. Oh, no, it's not. Who is that on the grid that stopped? Can you believe it? Coccione dies on the line. Oh man, his weekend is just getting worse and worse. They really battled to get that bike sorted out. They got it sorted out. He raced in race number 2, starting from the grid, from the pit lane, and now stuck on the grid. That is just a nightmare.
Terrible. Ricardo Otto has been pushed back to about 4th place. Look at this. Sam Lockhoff takes the lead, so he has not led a lap here today yet, but already made that move. Tyrese Robert right where he wants to be in the slipstream there of Tarek van der Merwe. Van der Merwe pulls out on the inside now. They're trying to get Coccione's bike going. You can see Wally Pappas, the COC there. He's just trying to watch the situation there. I don't think he's going to make it. See, oh, look at that rider using all the track and just a little bit more, as if there's not enough here at East London. But it just shows you these RC390s trying to get as much as possible out of those KTM machines.
Oh, Rob, you heard from Lance Murray when you were downstairs doing the first part of the day's proceedings, giving us a chance to start the day because I know how busy we're going to be. But Lance Murray is saying how awesome, and there you go, Coccione gets going. But wow, that's not going to be an easy task. He will still get some 6th place points, but not what he wanted.
This is where he wants to be. Lock-off wide. Yeah, it runs a little bit wide. How many times have we seen that today already, though? That left-hander catching out so many riders, and Lock-off, unfortunately, from 1st down to now 3rd, and Tarek is already pulling out a lead, but Tyrese Ray, he wants to be up there in 2nd place at the moment.
Trying to get away, that's for sure. But going back to my thought on Lance Murray, giving us insight after he's had a couple of opportunities to race. Oh no, Tyrese Robert. Something's going on that bike.
Yeah, locks up.
Something broke on that motorcycle. That doesn't do that. He gets going again.
I think he went maybe down to 1st gear.
Yeah, just dropping the clutch in 1st gear, and it locked up there properly. So he's now down in 5th place. Shall eventually get my Lance Murray thoughts out, okay? The Lance Murray thought I was having is that he was saying, being part and parcel of this championship last year, having to ride against these riders, he's it takes his hat off to the amount of effort that gets put in. But talking about one of our big sponsors around the series, he's saying how good the Pirelli rubber is for these motorcycles.
Much better. You can see the lean angle, just in pictures that we get sent from the SuperGP Gas media man Paul Bedford. He sends it to us, and just the lean angle that these oaks are able to carry. And if I look from the first year to now, lap times 4 or 5 seconds faster. That's been a progression throughout the whole year, throughout the last couple of years that we've been running the RC390 Championship. We're going to have a look now at a replay. You can see, I'm pretty sure that's down to 1st gear, drops the clutch, locks up.
Yeah.
Did very well to hang on.
Listen, we've seen a couple of riders get that all out of shape, particularly with Tyrese Roberts involved.
Yeah.
That happened at Desi's Raceway with William Friend when he went down to 1st, and the two of them collided. So very lucky to make that survive. Speaking of Lance Murray, here comes the man himself, and looking resplendent in his little hoodie, shades, and the top of his hair looking extremely longer than the bottom of his hair. But yeah, we're just mentioning the fact that Lance Murray was in commentary with us on the first one and telling us how good that Pirelli rubber is. You can see the riding style has changed with these bikes as well. Initially, they couldn't get the lean angles out of the bikes they wanted. They couldn't get the pace out of the bikes they wanted. The pace that Tarek van der Merwe is getting is amazing. But the battle for second is about to heat up.
Yeah, this is much better performance now from Sam Lockhoff. In race number 1, he was nowhere near Ricardo Otto. He's now dicing with him, runs a little bit wide there. So Otto in the slipstream. So Sam Lockhoff and that Samurai team have certainly found something in the break, because now he's going for a potential second position ahead of Ricardo Otto. Remember, he finished second in race number 1. Tarek van der Merwe is once again checking out, so this will be 50 points in the bag for him, and I think potentially the championship lead going into Swartkorp. So for the newcomer, the youngest rider I think we've ever had, look at the gap that Sam Lockhoff can pull down that front straight on Ricardo Otto.
Yeah, that's all power to weight ratio right there. Smaller rider, able to get probably a little bit lower behind that small screen on that KTM 390, but of course using the power to weight ratio that's to his advantage there. Slightly taller rider, maybe a little bit heavier as well from Otto, not a huge amount heavier, but enough to allow that gap to open up down the straight and into Cochabana.
Oh, Sam Lockhoff will be loving this, because if he can pick up a second place, that's more vital championship points for him. Remember, he picked up the race number 1 win down in Cape Town, got good points there, so he'll be a lot closer. He'll be running about second in the championship if things stay this way. So Sam Lockhoff, the newcomer as well, got two newcomers at the front end of the field in the RC390 Cup. Ricardo Otto, it's all about damage limitations at the moment, the KTM RC390 Cup. He's going to try and look how much he closes though now on the infield section, that's for sure. He's now right on the tail of Lokhoff, so it just shows you that Lokhoff using the advantage that he's got with his slight stature just to power away down the straights. But here comes Ricardo Otto now in the tight and twisty stuff where that extra weight does help, able to get the traction down. He's right now on the tailpipes.
Remember that we're also looking after the second heat to hand out what would be the KTM rider of the day. And I'm going to not only ask you to have a think about it, I'm going to ask Lance Marais to have a think about it as well. It'll be nice to have an ex-KTM rider and ex-SuperJunior rider help us out on the adjudication. Right now, in my opinion, there's not going to be anybody other than Tarek to take
for sure.
the double victory, being the youngest rider. But we'll certainly have to look at options to play around with the KTM Rider of the Day award that has to come and be part and parcel of this. So at the end of the day, you have to keep your wits about you and what's happening on the track. You have to talk to the boss people of Gas Sports and they come and whisper in your ear, and make sure that you turn the mute button back on again. Sorry about that, rookie. I mean, I told you, I can't stay in the same era or even in the same ballpark as Robert Portman.
No, you can't, Greg, sorry. And after all, we are men, we can't multitask. Don't give us headphones and a mute button.
And I'm trying to have a sip of my water as well to stop me coughing. Oh no, it's just horrendous.
It's just been crazy. But yeah, talking about the KTM have a Rider of the Day award, which we are trying to decide who we're going to give it to. So at the moment, Tarek van der Merwe, I think he picked it up in Cape Town as well. So it looks like he's going to make it 2 out of 2 there. I mean, how do you stop that? Because, I mean, to pick up a double win here at East London, leave East London with a championship lead, it's a hard one to bet against. But against Sam Lokhoff,
don't worry about it. You don't have to worry, because this man here is going to make the call. So we'll make a suggestion, and Lance Marais will say yes or no. So at this stage,
and then he has to deal with the parents.
140k an hour average lap time for Tarek van der Merwe ahead of the rest of this field, and he's now pulled 5.5 seconds over Sam Lokhoff and Otto fighting for second.
Yeah, he's about just over 2 seconds faster than anyone else on track at the moment. Aaron Heidemann in there in 4th place, the local man, so unfortunately just off the podium, just behind these guys at the moment. So if anything happens here, he's going to try and counter Tyrese Robert, recovering after that massive mistake that he made. So he's going to try and get as close as he can to Heidemann and see if he can pick up more points. You can see in the background there, coming onto the front straight now, Tyrese Robert has closed on that gap. So it's only a matter of time before he's up into 4th place, and oh man, that's just getting as many points as he can going into Swartkorp's a track that he is very good at, and he'll look to pick up yet another win. He's only had 1 win in the class before. He's in the slipstream now. Will he make a move on the inside? Yes, he does. Tyrese Robert, Park 22, now pulls out. He goes up into 4th place. Not where he wants to be. I spoke to him on the grid. He wants to be closer, but did very well. He could have easily been landing in the dirt right now.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that one, and a great effort to get back into 4th place, up ahead of Aaron Heidemann. Aaron Heidemann also very much in contention in terms of a KTM Rider of the Day, from my opinion. Not because he's at the front end, but because he's fighting with front end contenders.
And he goes on the inside.
And he goes straight back at Tyrese Roberts. So this is a man that potentially is going to have the crowd on its feet because he is local. So let's see whether or not he can keep it all together now. Tyrese Roberts comes back at him down that beat straight and heads down into gate corner. Long way back to those two from 2nd and 3rd place, Lokhoff and Otto. Otto only 0.4 of a second now off the back. Look at that, 7.386, 7.796. Nothing between Lokhoff and Otto. 2nd place very much up for grabs as we're seeing the fight for 4th here between Heidemann and Roberts.
Still Tarek van der Merwe, bike 32 out front. Got bike 32 from his idol Sheridan Moraes, who I've just heard has qualified 3rd for the World Supersport race tomorrow in Essen. So that is an incredible ride from Shares. So picked up that brilliant 2nd place at Aragon and looking to go on from that and potentially running 3rd in the championship, in the World Supersport Championship. So big up to Shares. We heard from him. He sent us that really cool message. So it really is great.
And we've got another one, special one coming up before the SuperGP.
Make sure you stick around. We've got a nice video from Shares.
We've got a fantastic video
to see the kind of stuff that I've got to put up with.
Down over the line one more time, halfway through here, 5 to go, 5 done, and unfortunately 9.5 seconds up the road is where we've got to try and find our leader. Battle for 2nd here, that's Lokhoff on the Samurai Racing machine, looking to try and keep Ricardo Otto out on Otto Racing KTM. How far back? There they come. Look at that, very nice.
Beautiful shot.
Nice shot of them, all 4 of them in shot for a little while, and then concentrating on Tyrese Roberts, who's not having it all his own way here.
Not at all, not at all. Heidemann, since he's been caught and passed, he's now right on the tailpipe there of Tyrese Robert and sticking it to him. This is where he's really good. You can see he's just a couple of meters later on the brakes, able to make the move on the inside. Can he hold the line? Tyrese Roberts fights straight back and sticks it on the inside, and Tyrese Roberts said, I'm not having this. I'm not in a good mood. get lost.
No. If you want to come with me, you have to follow me. Yeah, he's on the beat straight now trying to get away from Aaron. Aaron making a slight mistake under braking there. Using some local track knowledge, I'm sure, and coming up under an opportunity to get up the head of Tyrese Robert. Nearly made it stick, but just ran ever so slightly wide. Now into the complex. Watch for him to close down on Tyrese again. The battle there, I think, is not done yet. He hasn't given up, that's for sure.
East London was always going to be a tough track, well, not a tough track for these guys, but it was always going to be a little bit stretched. Wait until these little guys get to Red Star short track, and of course Swartkorp's up next. You want to see it racing, Moto 3 style bar bashing racing like we had done in Cape Town. So plenty of action still to come from this. Look at Ricardo Otto. He's able to hold such a tight line coming onto the front straight, but still can't make that move on Lockoff. So Otto's got a lot of racecraft work to do. He's really got to think about this now, because he knows he cannot make any move down the straight. He loses out way too much. You'll see he was right on the tailpiece of Lockoff coming on the front straight. Look at that, what, 5-6 bike lengths he loses down the straight. So he's got to get the infield section right, and he's got to shove it on the inside in the final turn and disrupt Lockoff, because if he doesn't, Lockoff will just slipstream by and pick up that second place.
He's certainly looking like he's doing that right now, as he's bridged a slightly bigger gap than what he's had over the last couple of laps. It's nearly over half a second, which is probably the biggest these two have been split by in a long time. So now Sam Lockoff has decided, let's get out of here and make sure we can get this second place. Definitely want to make up one more position on that podium, maybe even two, although I don't think, as we said, with Tarek, the entire beat straight. Now look at that lead.
That's impressive.
It's nearly 12-second lead there ahead of the second place fight. And then in the background, Tyrese has opened up a small margin over. Look at the, I was going to say, the camera position is being very difficult there, and it's not because our camera guy doesn't know how to hold the camera. That's not the camera guy at all. That's the scaffold he's on right now, being bolstered and blown around by the wind. So as much as we can, we're trying to hold that shot as tight and as still as possible. But with the big winds down here now, and it's got even stronger, I'd say.
Yeah. No, it's definitely going to play a factor as the race day goes on, for sure. Super 600s, Super GP guys were worried about it in race number 1. Well, I can tell you now, it's picked up 5 to 10 kilometers, even more than that. So definitely a big factor. Here comes Ricardo Otto. This is exactly what he needs to do. Shove it on the inside. Just get Sam Lockoff thinking a little bit outside and disrupt him a little bit. But now watch this. Sam Lockoff tucks everything in. He's a tiny little rider. I don't even think he's going to have to use the slipstream of Ricardo Otto. He's going to breeze straight past. There we go. Lockoff back up into second. But that's what Otto's got to do. If he doesn't do that, he's got no chance.
Well, if he does that on the last lap, it'll be enough.
It'll be enough, yeah.
Because he's, I don't know. It won't be enough, because Lockoff actually crossed the line ahead of him.
How close is that?
Very close. Incredible stuff. That's 0.006 of a second between the two of them there. Or 0.007 of a second. That is so tight. So he's going to have to try something a little bit earlier in the lap and then try and make it stick up to Beacon if he wants to.
He's going to have to try one of those. I passed you on the inside, but oops, my back brake got stuck. Called a block pass.
I don't know what those are, Rob.
I'm a professional at it.
I
used to do it all the time.
No, I know how you
I used to do it all the time. They called me block pass Rob.
Exactly. I saw it on a few occasions as well when you came past me in the 24 hour.
No, back break, block pass, say how's it, say cheers, bye.
Exactly. Your brother's not so good at it though.
No.
When he does that, he nearly high-sides out of the Kawasaki.
No, you never teach your younger brother how to go fast, because when he beats you, it's a slap in the face.
Exactly. Right, into gate corner again. Flick it over.
Just on the inside, Ricardo Otto. No, you try to go around the outside. That's
where he needs to do it. He needs to do it there. Get up the inside, get it done, and then he can lead up into Beacon, which will give him probably the edge that he requires to make the drag race to the line. Now we're into, this is 8, and we're coming to complete number 8 of 10. So there'll be 2 more opportunities for him to sort out where he's going to try this maneuver.
Let's see if he's going to stick it on the inside again. You can see the front forks of Lockoff dip. Otto, just a couple of meters later, they dip, but look how close they are now. Oh, gives him a little bit of a tap and just says, excuse me, I'm coming past. But let's see now. He has a drag to the line. So if this were final lap, who would cross the line? Looks like Lockoff's got it.
Yeah,
Lockoff, if he gets to drive... Oh,
no matter what, look at that now. Okay, 15.510, 15.622, 1/10 that time. So, oof,
it's going to be close. Ricardo's got to make the move, like you said, on the infield. He cannot wait till the final turn because Lockoff can just hold back, let him pass in the final turn, knowing very well that he can slipstream him and get him to the line. So Otto's got to shove it on the inside as soon as they get into the infield. Can't wait too long. As soon as they flick it right, the second left, he's got to shove it on the inside there. That's his only chance.
Yeah, and just force maybe a wide maneuver or a slight bit of additional braking from Sam Lockoff if he's able to get there. He's not close enough now.
No.
But he might be able to close because he has got some good pace, but we've already seen the pace coming out of Lockoff. Now, there he goes.
Yeah.
He closes right in. Let's see what he can do down the speed straight to try and stay with Lockoff into the complex and sort things out where he can go up the inside.
Yeah, he's got to just line it up. He's certainly the latest of the last late breakers for sure. But now going into the infield, yeah, he'll bang it down a gear to look how much later on the brakes he is. Now he's going to get runs to tailpipes, but don't make the move here. Don't make the move here. Make the move here now. You've got to go on the inside. Is he going to do it? He's not close enough.
Yeah,
this is going to be close.
If he stays there for the last lap, he might be close enough. And that's where he's got to come out and lead. He's got to lead into this right-hand sweep.
That's it, 100%.
And then maybe a little bit of dragging on that back brake to force Lockoff into early braking.
A little Rob Portman move.
A little Portman maneuver up into
Portman
Beacon.
special.
Ross Rapport is about to come out for the KTM Super Juniors, and we are into that one already with Tarek van der Merwe leading by almost 16 seconds down the road.
Sure. We haven't seen that in a 390 race in a long time, since William Friend days, I think.
Yeah, it's been a while, that's for sure. But there you can see, even coming across, trying to block Sam Lockoff. He's not able to do it. Lockoff still gets through. No matter what he tries into Beacon Turn, he's not able to keep out the ability of
But he's a lot closer now. He's got that slip at least. Before the laps before, he hasn't had that slip. So he still loses out a lot, but he's a lot closer than he has been in the previous laps. Which, as soon as they get it onto the side and that rev limiter climbs, look at little Lockoff. That little KTM just leaps away from Ricardo Otto.
Tyrese Roberts still in 4th place. I haven't seen much of him. He's now pulled 2.5 seconds over the 18 bike of Aaron Hardiman. So Aaron Hardiman down in 5th place. It's then Coccione 1 lap back, but still maintaining a couple. So now coming down onto the braking markers, we're going to ask Lance Murray to jump in for this last lap because he's going to give us a little bit of insight from his point of view, what he thinks. Oh, side-by-side action coming out there. Otto has got through into Copacabana. So, but will he lose the drive? Yes, he will. Again, on the straights, Lockoff just seems to have the advantage. Lance, you've seen an incredible battle between these two boys. It's coming down to the wire stuff now, and you've heard what Rob and I have been saying. Where is this opportunity going to come for Otto?
I think it's going to come just before the last corner, if he can get close enough. Just before the right sweep.
Oh, he's gone where Rob said he's going to go.
Yes, there we
he
go.
Sneaks in on the left-hander. He's done exactly what Portman said he must do.
And he's got
the drop.
Gap.
So now let's see if we can keep it all together. Hopefully no mistakes at top into Beacon. Coming up the hill now on that back straight away. And Lance Maria is just sitting. He didn't even have to say. He didn't want to say anything in case he messes it up. Across the line goes Tarek van der Merwe. A massive win. Double victory on the day for him. Otto has got the brakes. He's got the late braking into Beacon.
Drive now.
Now, can he get the drive? Looking back. He's got it. He's done it to perfection, Rob. Well done. He must have had insight there. Portman called it to perfection. Across the line. Does he get it? Yes, he does. Only just. Let's have a look at that on the timing monitor there. Have a squiz there, but 18.584, 18.964. Wow. Incredible stuff. 4 tenths between the two of them, but Otto winning that out. Now, Lancey, we've got 2 contenders for Rider of the Day. I'm going to ask you to give us a little bit of insight there. Tarek van der Merwe, double victory, youngest rider on the track. Awesome effort, but he's already taken a KTM rider victory down in Cape Town. Local man here, Aaron Hardiman with the 5th place, fighting with the usual contenders. Who's your man?
Look, they both have really good,
I'll give you a chance to think about it on the highlights. Coccione got stuck on the line, unfortunately. Look at them bumping and barging, heading down towards turn number 1. And as they headed into turn 1, it was Tarek van der Merwe getting the drop on everybody and already starting to open up a big margin right at the end of the lap. That's the first lap of racing. Tyrese Robert made a massive mistake and nearly got it all wrong. Going down to first gear, locking up and having to come back for the fight. Here he did. He got up to Aaron Hardiman, one of our contenders that Lance is thinking about there in terms of the KTM Rider of the Day, and then came through the big right-hander. Carried on fighting hard, wasn't going to give it up to Tyrese Robert, and eventually, unfortunately, Tyrese had to get physical and force him into a mistake down into Copacabana. Once he got through, Tyrese opened up a good margin, and eventually would end up about 3 seconds up ahead. The last manoeuvring happening into the final turns, starting to sort things out. Where would it go right? Where would it go wrong? We saw a move from Otto that got into the lead. It was a comeback from Sam Lockoff. The win was a long way down the road. And, of course, it was all about Tarek van der Merwe. But second place is where everything was happening. Sam Lockoff eventually losing out to an incredible bit of forceful riding into the second left-hander coming out of the complex. And to the line, it was Otto in second and Lockoff in third. Right, so back to you, Lance. You've had a chance to think about it now. Who's your KTM Rider of the Day?
I would feel like it would be Aaron.
Awesome stuff.
Riding with some of the top contenders is not easy to do.
I'm going to ask Rob to jump in here quickly while I head down to the podium and take us through that final bit.
Thanks, Greg. Going to go down to catch up with our top 3 riders. And Lance, just a little bit of insight. I know you're studying that, but will you be back racing? Will we be seeing you in the SuperGP category, maybe a 600 next year?
Definitely on a 600 next year, you know, just keeping my mind on the studies, nothing, no distractions or anything. But next year, full on racing.
No, that's good. Great to have you back. I can't wait to see that. The 600 class is very competitive, though. I'm sure you're watching today's racing action and thinking, geez, I want to be there, but at the same time, I don't, because it has been incredible racing so far today.
Yeah, no, it's been really great racing. I'm missing it a lot. Like, yo.
No, when you sit here, you really do miss it. We're going to go down now to the podium ceremony. Greg Maloney has got his microphones there and catch up with our top 3. It's Tarek van der Merwe. Of course, it is Ricardo Otto there in second, and then Sam Lockhoff, all the way from Cape Town, in third place.
Tim will give him a cap now. Want some water, boy?
Yeah, thanks very much there, Ivan. So much for Rob and to Lance Murray for jumping in there to help us out with a bit of commentary for today for our Super Juniors. Let's get them up on the podium. A great effort once again from all 3. A valiant effort being put in from the top end of Super Juniors. And in third place for the Samurai Racing team once again. Let's get Sam Lockhoff up here. There you go. That's the way to do it, eh? All right, let's get second place up there as well. Another valiant effort there from Otto Racing's Ricardo Otto. And a double on the day for Evolve and Ride Fast. Let's hear it for Tarek van der Merwe. Oh, nice to see Wayne Doran doing some work for a change from Pirelli. Haven't seen him in a long time. Are you getting first? How did he crack that knot, eh? Hasn't come here for 500 years and then he has to get to the top of the podium. Tim Cook from Gasforth, please, sir. Third place. The hardest working Pirelli representative there, Mark. Thanks, Mark, for handing that out. And certainly somebody that we've missed from motorcycle racing, an ex-South African champion himself, Mr. Wayne Doran from Pirelli, handing out first place. Let's make some noise there for our Super Juniors, ladies and gents. All right, let's have a quick chat to all top 3 riders. Come on down here, Sam. Don't go too far away, you two. The effort that was put in there from your side was very good, but unfortunately some tactics from Ricardo caught you out in the end.
Guaranteed. When Tarek pulled away, I was just trying to stay in second, but Ricardo outsmarted me, and that's what racing is about.
No doubt about it. Looking forward to heading up to Swartkops now and going at it again for round 3?
Yeah. It's going to be pretty hard beating the Joburg boys because it's their home track, but I'm going to push my hardest and do what I can.
We're looking forward to it, buddy. Well done. Congratulations. Excellent effort there. Ricardo, come on in, bud, once again from your side. That's 2 out of 2 for position 2.
Yeah, that was very fun. It was better than the first race. It's better having a battle when riding on your own. And yeah, I had to make that remover to get second, and yeah, it was a very fun race for me. The slipstream was good, and it all worked out, everything good.
No doubt about it. We're heading to Swartkops now for round 3. A track that you probably got a little bit more time on than the other 2 riders that are with you, so maybe that can work to your advantage.
Yeah, Swartkops is a very good track. It's my favorite track on the calendar, so I hope to get a win there also.
Brilliant stuff. Well done. Congratulations again. Tarek van der Merwe. What's it? Absolutely, hey? Hashtag. Absolutely.
Obviously.
No, obviously. You weren't all listening in the first one. I was just saying if anybody out here was listening. It's obviously the hashtag that we got here. But Tarek, what a ride, buddy.
Thank you very much.
Got to also give you a little heads up as well that you're also going to be getting the KTM Rider of the Day. So there you go. 2 out of 2 for that one. Had to work hard for it though, and certainly the hard work is paying off. Now we go to Swartkops. It's a track that you've raced it on occasions, but not in KTM Super Juniors.
No, but I really like the track. I'm really comfortable with it now, so I'm looking forward to that round.
All right, we'll see you hopefully at the top of the step again and some more victories.
And I'd just like to thank all my sponsors, Montega Steel, Formula One, Evolve Racing, my mom and dad, and everyone who's supporting me here today.
Magnificent action from the KTM Super Juniors here in East London. We look forward to more of the same at Swartkops. A big thanks to Deoda and our associate sponsors for all the action.